Hey guys, today's assignment is the Google Slides and you will be rounding some decimals. So I just wanted to give you a quick review in case you need that. Some of the slides will include a number line and some of them you will just be rounding without the number line. So here's just a quick review on rounding decimals. It's really not any different than rounding whole numbers. So I want you to think back to when you were in third grade and we first started learning about rounding. Here's our number line. Now think of it like a hill, okay? So at the top of my hill, that's my halfway point. That would be my 4 5/10. So my whole numbers are 4 and 5. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to round to 4 or 5. So let's say that I have a ball, and my ball is right here on the hill, okay? I want you to think, would that ball roll over to the 5? Or would that ball roll back down to the 4? Well, when I look at the slope of my hill, that ball's going to roll this way. That ball's going to roll to the 4. So 4 3/10 is closer to 4. I would round it to 4. But if I look on this side of the hill, there's my ball on 4 7/10. This ball is closer to the 5. So that's going to round back to the 5. So when you look at a number line without the hill, okay, here's my halfway point. So when I'm thinking about my number line, I have to think, is my point on the number line closer to the 5 or closer to the 4? So here's your rule to remember. This right here, this 5/10 is what's going to help us know to round to the 4 or the 5. If it is at the halfway point or more, 5 or more, this halfway point or more, I'm going to raise it up to the next number, which would be the 5. But if it is below the halfway point, so like let's say if it was 4.4, 4 4/10, if it was 4 or less, it's going to just stay at a 4. Okay? When you're looking at a number line, it's really easy to see because you can just place your number and see, is it between the 4 and 4 5/10, or is it 4 5/10 or higher? Okay? Now, if you don't have a number line, you really have to rely on this rule. So let's say I have a number like this. Okay, 2 and 236 thousandths. Okay, and I want to round my number to the tenths place. So the first thing I have to do is I have to find the tenths place. Okay, so here's my ones, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So I'm rounding it to the tenths place. Okay, that means that I have to look at my neighbor, my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor is going to tell me what to do. So if my next door neighbor is 5 or more, then my 2 is going to raise up to a 3. If my next door neighbor is 4 or less, which in this case it is, then my 2 stays the same. Okay, so my 2 stays the same, and everything else becomes a 0. And I've rounded it to the tenths place. Okay, we're going to do one more. Let's say I want to round it to a whole number. So I've got 6 73/100ths, and I want to round it to a whole number. A whole number means it's not a decimal. So I'm rounding it to the 6, my whole number, which means I'm going to look at my next door neighbor, which is the tenths place, and the tenths place is going to tell me what to do. In this case, the tenths place is 5 or more. So I'm going to raise that 6 to a 7, and everything else becomes a 0. Okay, so there's just a quick review on rounding. On your slides, some of the ones at the end have more than one answer where you have to put the X by them. So make sure you copy that X if you need to, because there might be multiple answers on some of the ones at the end. Okay, and I'll be available on Zoom if you need more help. Bye.